Okay, so this is being held up by like literally nothing. So I hope this looks okay, but I want to rant about something. And it's not necessarily a rant that I'm like angry about or anything, but it's just a fact of life. And if I could give especially young people this advice, uh, hopefully they could grasp it and realize, this is how the world kind of works. And it is simple stuff, too. So you hear the stories about, like Axl Rose. He's just a boy in Indiana. And if he had stayed in Indiana, he would have been a bricklayer or, just some random regular job, right? But he had to go where he was going to become larger than life, the singer of Guns N' Roses. So he went to LA, and yeah, they struggled for a while, formed the band Guns N' Roses, and there was times he was sleeping under stairwells and stuff outside and all that stuff. The classic story, rags to riches, rough and tumble band in LA, but then finally got their big break and touring arenas and stadiums and all that stuff. You can't take a story like that and translate it to today. When so many people like myself grew up in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, your the teenage years, your formative years, you're watching a lot of those behind the music shows, and you see how all these big bands started. It was just, yeah, yeah, oh, well, we just got together and, we just played a few shows, and A&R guy was in the crowd and picked us up, and yeah, and then we go on tours, and then we get this, and then tragedy struck. Yeah, the guitarist. He had trouble with his wife and he got a divorce, and he decided to just walk away one day during a show and get on a motorcycle and just start heading west and just driving and driving. The band didn't know what to do. They put out their next album and it flopped. Then they had to it's that kind of stuff. And as a kid, you'd watch that and you would kind of almost use that as the blueprint. If you were wanting to be a musician, get in a band, and be in a successful band, you'd look at these stories of bands that did make it, and you'd be like, okay, so we do this and do that, we kind of follow what they did, that would be the key. But here's the deal, that worked 20, 30 years ago from when I was watching. Definitely didn't work then. At that point, if you were to be a pop star, you would have had to been in 5 Mickey Mouse shows and been on Radio Disney and Disney Channel and all that stuff. The Disney Channel to pop star pipeline kind of deal. If you're just some kid with no connections, no money, you don't know anybody, well, I guess that goes into connections, but like, and you don't leave where you are living, which could be small town USA. You don't either go to LA or New York or even Chicago, and you just kind of stay where you are. You're going to be frustrated because there is a lot of great talents out there. But if you are not in LA or New York and you're not, really kind of selling yourself, your potential is going to just die out. And you are going to, have to give up what you are very talented in because you did not, I guess, sell your soul in a certain way. Like a lot of musicians and creative people just want to focus on making the thing, making their content, and that's it. They want to move on to the next thing. Let someone else worry about getting it out there. Let the algorithm do its thing. I can't be focused on that. I'm so into my art. I'm so into my art that I can't focus on that sales thing. That's boring. I just want to keep making things. I wish I would have told myself this back in the day too, but you do have to promote yourself at least a little bit. Like, you can't just be just in your room playing guitar all day. And like, I know so many people that were really great guitarists, and that's all they ever wanted to do was play guitar. But if they have the personality where they just don't want to talk to people and I'll just let the guitar do the playing, I'll just let my vocals, my talent do the talking. I don't need to have to sell myself or feel like, a salesperson. There are so many things that have to happen besides having such a great genius talent for you and one to make it. Great connections, right place, right time. And the right place is never usually where you grew up. You're going to have to move to a big city. And that is the thing. And that's the thing that's frustrating with a lot of people that are very, very talented is if they can't make it and move to a big city where they are more noticed, more accepted, more seen, it could anger them when they see people with less talent but just happen to be living in LA or New York City get great gigs, get, put on all these different places. And that's the problem when you see a lot of mediocre trash in the media, is a lot of it is just Nepo babies that grew up in big cities, and they may have a smidgen of talent compared to the rest of the population, but since they are given the opportunities to get on to far larger projects and get good gigs and everything, that is seen as what is talented and what is looked upon as a good thing. So when you look at all the ads and everything that you see on TV and in newspaper, and who reads the newspaper, anywhere you see online too, just know that a lot of it is coming from those types of people. Now, I'm not discounting the people that grew up in a big city and have talent to do that, but there is so much untapped talent, and in order for you to realize your potential, you do have to make that move and go to LA or New York or whatever to be seen. But then again, the internet has changed up things so much where you can kind of grow where you are as opposed to needing to uproot yourself just to be seen. So that is the beauty of the future too. So it's like kind of killing my whole thought and idea here. But still, at the same time, a lot of that is still in play to where if you don't have the connections, you're not going to get put on. And speaking of Guns N' Roses in the first place, it was the talent, but they also had a lot of things. Talent, they were in LA, were playing gigs where they were being seen. And the third was Slash's mother was a costume designer or clothes designer for like big names. So there was a lot of connections there, a lot of things happening. But that, I wouldn't say that was the reason why they, got a record deal or whatever, because Slash's mom. But, you have to have a lot of things stacked up to finally make it. So don't ever fall into that trap where you have big dreams and you watch a TV show or you watch a biography of a band or a group or a musician where, oh, they started from nothing and then they became a star. Don't ever look at that and use that as the blueprint as to how you can do it too, and take notes on what they did. Because, I mean, like I said, the stars that made it, that you look up to, how they made it 20 years ago, it doesn't work anymore. It's always changing. And you have to mold your own way and your own story, basically, on achieving your goals and your dreams and all that. So with that, that's all I gotta say. All right.